We are ready for the game. Erangel coming at you. All right, guys, welcome to game number 1. The grassy plains of Erangel here. Some rolling hills and a few mountains here and there as well. But we are pretty southern heavy on this plain path. It's south of Pachinki, south of Gatka, and it's heading a little bit further south. So it's going to be a little bit tough getting up to North George for Gen G. And I don't see them. I see them out of the plane, but
only a few.
There could be some scuffles going on here.
And Aquafy could actually go back into the ruin side to open up, even to cut path for Tiamba to come down directly from South George. We'll have to see. Genji might have made some more landmark changes, as this is quite far away. Seems like they're actually staying below Mount Everest, spread out 1-1-1-1. That should actually put them near GEX towards Gatka.
Yeah, and we saw Tianba learn the hard way that you can't really mess with GX and Gatka. Now, Luren almost pulled off 3v1 with that micro Uzi, so close last week, but wasn't able to quite convert. He picks up 1 point out of it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't everything he wanted it to be. MCG, they drop kind of in a really interesting spot here, G-Clef. To the west of prison, to the south of the museum, to the north of farm. Like, it's this really interesting spot here. We are seeing M200 try to take someone out of the air.
Is that
We're getting some long drops. Well, it's near impossible. It is very, very hard, but you might as well go for it, because every once in a while, you might get lucky.
And a pretty northern circle all the way up to Cervoni. You don't see anyone, of course, towards Zarki. Pretty good circle for Gen G, because they're still in the air mostly with the parachute, trying to go for that North George. And Tiemba, you have to watch out. Look at how they're extending into North George right now. They're still sniping on Gen G.
Yeah, this is the thing about vehicles. They're much faster than parachuting, and now they're all blasting up into them. It's Pio and Anonix that are doing the long drop into North George. Now, they're going to have the eastern side, but Luren is already across the bridge, heading over to where probably Pio and Anonix want to drop. This is crazy. Tianba is asserting their dominance.
Pio might actually have to just pull out towards the bridge, towards the right immediately. Tianba Linchun already went to the 4 houses, so it actually, this rotation split Gen G into 2-2. And they're trying to swallow them early on, because they're the one with the guns right now.
Okay, so Luren wasn't able to get there fast enough, so he is going to back off. Now, this is going to be interesting for Tianba. Did they maybe get a little too aggressive with Lin Shun? I can already see him hopping back into his vehicle. He might back off here, too, because if Gen G kind of has any wits about them, as VLG also gets involved on the side of all of this, but I think they're actually just trying to get up to a, get ahead of the circle, because the circle did go northwest while this was going on. I think they're just rotating. I don't think they want any business getting involved in this fight, but Lin Shun is indeed backing off the 4-square.
Yeah, just let them fight, because they are going to fight, and Lin Shun did try to peek into PO, but did not see any more shots. I think they're safe. I think Tiamba looked for maybe a knock from the parachute and some more damage if they had some lucky shots, but no further issue from that moment on. But I love the fact that Tiamba's getting aggressive, putting that pressure into Gen G, because they actually lost those war in South George or North George against Gen G yesterday.
Yep.
I think the story is continuing from that scrim.
Now, what I worry about when I look at my map is that Gen G and VLG are kind of having similar ideas about how they want to rotate early on. I want to take a look at that match point focus there. Your Erangel specialist, New Happy and Afrika. New Happy getting almost all their points in one game yesterday with a 17-kill second place. Huge performance from them on Erangel, with taking that, what is known in most regions as the tempo dip, but it's the dip just to the west of the museum there by the crossroads. Really powerful position if you can work it, and New Happy did it to perfection.
Yeah, this place for Hikari is one of the best spots all the way up in north here, as Gen G, we did see Pio trying to get this spot last week, but was not able to do so. Hikari on top of that rotation, exactly like VLG, and how they did well during the qualifier, is among these really quick rotations, as they were close in Rosehawk. I like their position so far.
I really like what Gen G is doing right now, that they're looting up, in North George. They know it's safe for now, and they're sending Aqua 5 and Loki, who had poor loot because they were forced into a smaller compound due to the plane path and the drop locations and the movements of Tianba, towards Zarki, towards that new compound that's just to the east of Zarki. It looks like they're heading to that. Love that idea. And overall, I think, it looked like it might have been real bad for Gen G, but they come out of it unscathed, G-Clef.
Yep, and you're happy not get to say too much about them. Just mentioned briefly, but they are going to have a later rotation from Milta here, as that's going to take a long time because they are waiting for MCG and also OPGG to move out from that farm and on top of farm area, just in case they run into him. And even during the scrims, NH actually forced a very late rotation. It seemed like they were almost transitioning into those edge circle play compared to last week.
I'm excited to watch New Happy. They got better, like at times. They kind of struggled very early on in the tournament, but they got better and better as time went on. And Ming is the guy to keep your eyes on for this team, for New Happy. As he goes, it kind of feels like New Happy tends to go. He had 14 kills in the very first week so far, so he was the big fragger for them, the big damage dealer. As you would kind of expect if you're a fan of the PCL, you know full well that Ming has been nuts.
Yeah, and Afrika Freaks, as they go near Stauber and maybe all the way towards even Cerberni, because that's near Cerberni, that big storage on top of the hill should be taken already by the other team. It seems like Destination Gaming White, they are trying to get that position next to Cerberni right now. EJ trying to get some damage at 4 a.m.
Woo! Right into Buyo.
He's alone.
Yeah, this is trouble now for Buyo. He's very hurt already. The 4 angry men are swarming like bees on top of him. He's going to catch one of them out.
Oh,
but
no!
He's unable to connect on top of them, so it's going to be Lou. He had a chance at Lou there, Clef, but wasn't able to get a handle on things.
This is exactly happening because Gotti came down near shooting range looking for that crate. He came down very early near that shooting range. He got the crate and got some information because he did hear remember right there passing by the shooting range and getting into that compound. That's exactly why 4 a.m. pushed with 3 main.
And there was a brief battle for Severity one time where New Happy tried to mess with K7 and K7 put them in the ground. Didn't even let it happen.
Yeah, that's not going to survive too long, as you see a lot of teams actually rotating all the way from the north beach side.
And that was last week, I mean, of course. Last week there was a battle between K7 and New Happy, but anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I wanted to clarify. In case somebody thought I meant today.
K7,
like,
they're
no,
still
no.
there, so I was wondering if you're talking about right now.
No, that's why I clarified. I'm like, I should probably specify when that happened. It
Yeah,
was last week.
Yeah, Genji also lost that. Yeah, K7 just forcing into a big routine. What, EJ dropping down? Of course, from the beach side, if you go right near the water, you don't really get focus fired as much. Exactly like how Hansia is driving.
Yep.
Maybe.
That was just nasty shooting.
Yeah, maybe
from
EJ
Loxlock.
was, yes.
Just absolutely insanely good shooting. Loxlock, very, very good player from the PML. And you're right, you can usually drive along that beach and stay relatively safe, but there is that moment when you cross by Severny that you're a little bit exposed.
Yes, when you get close to the city side.
Yep, exactly. And so that's, that's where Loxlock is going to be.
Another hard game for Afrika Freaks, as they already lost a few members. It's not a good sign already, as they will be forced from MCG and Entus. They're staying right near them.
It's a tough rotation to make from Mill to Power. It's really hard to come all the way up and around. I imagine they went somewhere near Stauber in this rotation, and it just takes a long time. And, originally it was kind of FaZe that popularized this movement over in Europe, and since then so many other teams are interested in taking those similar routes because they work that they become very congested.
Oh
God, boy.
Gotti is not hearing too much because of these vehicle sounds, but he's got level 3 gear, so he should be okay with the MK.
Yeah, he's moving on out. He's trying to regroup. He's kind of caught. Oh, no, he's not quite fast enough. He's got iron sights there on that M4. Takes a bunch of damage, but he's kind of evened the trade with Detonation Gaming White here. Grenade at his feet. That's going to send him packing and running, but the reinforcements are here. Good shots are going to back off 4 a.m. They come full send in for the reinforcements, but there's kind of mixed ideas about how to approach the situation for 4 a.m.
Yep. Mixed ideas, but number one, their priority is always straight. Save Goppy, keep him alive. They have done the mission, okay? It's all good. They can just back up because they got the compound and they can just roll back. Exactly what they're doing right now.
Yeah, it's really smart. The circle phase 2 did shift to the northwest, so everybody's kind of now making their rotations. The survivors from Afrika Freaks already well on their way. They need to get somewhere that they can successfully play with just 2 safely. That's difficult to do no matter who you are, and there is Genji kind of up front in their way a bit. Pio out on his own with Aqua 5 and another member of Gen G on the side there. Now, Pio's 100% going to hear this coming, but I think Pio might have learned his lesson from last week.
Yes.
We saw this a couple times where he hung out somewhere too long and got picked off.
Lots of criticism from the Korean commentary side and also from the fans by Pio just having a lone survivor mode when he had teammates. And he can switch the sign and just go alone and unleash Pio into the jungle when he's alone, but when he's with the team, he's got to be a team member. And he was cut off oftentimes, losing a lot of Gen G's power. But this time staying together, it seems like Gen G is safe for now.
All right, Indigo's going to pick up a point on the new Happy. They're coming out from, you know, more of a southeastern area, so they're an edge late team, as a few others are. Griffin still making their way in. K7 got in a boat again. Remember this, on game number 1 on Miramar, K7 took a boat because the circle hard shifted to the east, still had the islands even inside of it to begin with, and they came down. They're getting shot at by Griffin, but they survived it and ended up having a really good start to the day in very tough situations.
They can have exactly the same, how they went into Puerto Paraíso, they can do exactly the same towards Zarki, which I don't think there will be anyone, maybe one team. So K7's actually making a very smart choice.
I wish our observers would catch a quick shot of it. Maybe we'll catch it in this pan shot where you can see them, but they might actually be too far out.
They're
like
actually
right
out
now,
of the map.
They are way out on the very edge of the play zone. I'm actually worried they're going to go too far out and go outside of the play zone and, and actually accidentally kill them. They're that far on the edge of the map.
Yeah, they are trying to swim into Paramo or something, into some different map right now. But they are going to be spotted very likely from either from Gen G or I think
well, Lockslot got out on an island. This is so weird. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on in the middle of the circle. We'll come back to K7 when we're given the opportunity. But for now, in the middle of this circle, you can see Entis is trying to completely block off the northernmost road. They've got Sungjang and Kale, and then Under and Indigo in a kind of traditional 2-2 split for Entis. Infantry has moved in to North George, but it is still occupied.
This is exciting.
This would be a good fight.
Moving into M200. Yeah, infantry today, due to an issue from Boiling, we do have Lin instead in that squad.
Yeah, so it was announced on Infantry's Twitter that Boliang has an appendicitis. So he had to have surgery, probably to have his appendix removed.
He's fine, but
he's fine.
Surgery was done this morning, so he cannot play today.
Yep, but he's doing okay. Everything went well. He's in good health and good spirits, so glad to hear that. But they do have to go with Lin. And those of you who have watched Infantry for some time know that Lin is very capable himself, a great player. So Infantry probably, you know, of course they want to have their full roster, but at the end of the day, Infantry just can't seem to find luck at PGC. You know, one of their players had a dislocated jaw.
It happens, man. Life is difficult.
Yep, that's true. Life is hard, no doubt about it. Now,
yeah, with the new circle, there's a big shift. Entis. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty nice dip, so they don't get really focus fired from Gen G at all.
Now the center ground in the middle of the field is already taken, and Evo Lee is going to get Under. That's a big loss. One of the best fraggers in Korea right now is Under, and he's going to go down early. So that's going to have to force Gen G to settle up on a dip on the eastern side of the road. And AO's trying to come in here too. That vehicle almost gets Entis. AO is down. Here comes the full send from OPGG. This is going to be a little bit challenging for OGN. They've got 2 flanks to fight on, but Dumbo, they can get him down. That opens it up to 1 flank right now. Smoke's already in the way, though, to cover the angle of Dumbo.
So it has to be either OG and Entis or OPGG in this deep right across from Gen G, because you can't really have 2 teams. Within the next few minutes, I think the other team's going to either get out. Oh yeah, you can't really get out from here. Entis is right below them. They should know.
Yeah, OPGG might have just been a little too late on this rotation. We've seen it time and time again where on hard shifts, Entis does so good. Now it's Alfaka, so now it's Dumbo and I think Silky maybe?
Lost.
No, Silky might be knocked too.
He's knocked.
You're right, he's knocked. So it's just Dumbo left. And Kale's going to get knocked from GEX, though. GEX, again, I mentioned, has that center field location, that kind of hilly area in the middle of the Zarki Fields is an extremely powerful position to play in a circle like this. MCG is going to get a knock as well. That's up on the northeastern side of the circle as people fight around that edge.
Yeah, this is going to be another hard position, as Africa Freaks is also on top. Loki is watching out from those compounds. Gen G actually spreading out. No one's actually challenging them directly because there are a lot of teams around them too. This is actually a very hard circle to have that late rotation unless you're still in North George, and that's exactly what Tiamba is doing.
Poor Summer, he's got somebody on top of him. He's just trying to wait. Detonation Gaming in the meantime is completely surrounded by MCG and getting picked apart piece by piece. 4 a.m. has to move into this next circle. There's VLG and Griffin up in front of them. So a little bit late on the gun here is 4 a.m., but 4 up for them. Let's see if these 4 angry men can get something done. It looks like they're going to be heading towards a more northerly shift. They were up on the hill. They probably saw this was a little bit safer. Code up on the top there, guys. Make sure you put that into your PUBG client. You can also do it from your consoles if you have those. So if the codes are good in either place to get your coupons to try and bet on who's going to win these events. Now 4am crosses in front of Asura. Asura has a decent spray down, gets a little bit of damage, but at the end of the day, it looks like 4am is going to be able to get away with this.
Yeah, Forever actually just became a bait for the rest of the team. Had to throw out a sacrifice against Griffin, who's actually staying out in the blue right now. 4am, the rest of the squad still okay, finding a relatively safe spot near the beach side, but Afrika Freaks, I think they have to challenge him soon enough.
I agree. At some point, the Freaks are going to need to pick up points somewhere in this round, and this might be their opportunity. If they're watching that kill feed, they probably have a pretty good idea. Forever does end up going down to the blue. Asura should be trying to make his way out soon, I would think, and the rest of Griffin as well needs to move over as the circle continues.
Yes.
Shifting to the west, pretty much towards Zarki. So I love these circles. I think they're super fun.
Yeah, because Afrika is actually on top, you don't have the best angle on 4 a.m. I thought they were going to try to go into Zarki. And maybe they do have an idea that K7 made that rotation, which I doubt at the moment.
I don't think anybody's expecting that. K7 did end up going all the way in there. We never saw it on screen, but it did happen. All right, Luren is stuck here. Pero's got a pretty good position on top of him as they're pushing forward. However, the eastern side does expose you a little bit. You have some hay bales, you have some ridges to work with. You have this big power pole thing. But other than that, it is a field on Aaron.
Yeah, but still, Luren is a big bait. The rest of the squad actually on the back of the hill, still near North George, becoming the turret for one member. He's knocked right now, but getting that much information should be good enough for the rest of the squad, as it has to be a hard circle to come in for them.
You still have the apartments on the northwest side of North George available to move into if it gets really dire. VLG is able to cut ahead of Tianba here, but they're already under fire. You can see VLG's Deva does get knocked. Now 4am trying to make their way in on side. Griffin, Two Heart, the others, Juanita as well, take some damage. 2-tap is knocked here, so some good fire already from 4am. Has one member of Griffin knocked, but Asura, Johnny on the spot, quickly rotating in. Barry hurt himself. Loose sprays does not connect. Juanita still trying to hold the front line here, seeing if they can get to 2-tap, excuse me. More smokes are in, and it looks like for now Griffin is able to hold on.
Yeah, right now Juanita trying to see how big the angle is from 4am. There's a spray, does not connect too many. Yes, okay, that's a pretty nice attack for Xiaolu though. Griffin, they still need to get that res. And they need to push into the circle just a little bit more because DGW can always push.
If 4am got a knock there, I think Griffin would be in a lot of trouble. Okay, oh my god, crazy. Headshots, Juanita, and that is real bad. They do have the res on a 2-tap. Now it's Afrika who's getting involved. They're trying to third party pick up some points after losing 2 members early. Lou is knocked here from Asura, so Griffin, they're trying their best. They're being hardy, and it's just Godby left now as 2Heart gets crazy. Grenades are coming through. He's trying to flank around the side. Stun is there, but nobody underneath that UAS to connect.
Yeah, doesn't exactly know where they are, but into the smoke. Might just be good enough, but does get that res onto Juanita. Godby does not get another kill, and Griffin does win that battle.
Yeah, really good defense on the edge for Griffin. They needed something like that to start the day. Tianba has made their way in to the backside of the road just in front of the hill they were on. Now it's New Happy who is in front of them because on the backside of all this, VLG got absolutely dusted by Tianba.
Within a few seconds, there was one push from, I believe, Lynchun, and then the rest of the squad just basically pinned them down. VLG had no chance of staying in there, even though they knew that Tianba was right behind them. So something had to be wrong about VLG's position. They're either a third party from the side at the same time.
I love Sun Sisters' position in this circle. How well, I liked it even before this one popped. I love these hills over on the western side of this. You have great vision
the rocky side
into everything. You have good defense. There's even a little like power pole up there. So there's like solid cover. There's good terrain to work with. There's good sight lines. Everything is going really well for the Sun Sisters. Are we actually going to see somebody besides Korea or China get a win for the first time since PCS 1 was the last time we saw a Japanese team get a win? That was Element 36.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and still Dumbo trying to get that. Oh, Pio gets knock into Indigo, and Entus actually win the battle against You Happy, but
oh, in the backside, there is Dumbo, who's been
Yes.
hanging out. The sneaky snake
For a long
pops
time.
up. The prairie dog is here. He takes Sungjong down. Now it is Mings who is cutting across. Tianba making interesting rotations here. G-Clef cutting way across the southern side of the circle.
they're trying to stay below Sun Sisters so they don't take that much damage. And that's one less thing to worry about when every other team has to worry about Sun Sisters. Here comes a free cover with just 2 men. They're immediately knocked out. Free 2 points.
I like the idea by Afrika, but Tianba's
Yeah.
just a little bit faster and a little bit better, and that is going to be Afrika out and Detonation Gaming falls as well.
And because of too much firepower from all the other teams, I don't think Afrika knew exactly where the vehicles were heading into. And Sun Sisters, knowing that they will have backside covered, have to challenge Tianba.
Yeah, the Sun Sisters got a knock, and they're trying to push it, and they absolutely should. They've got all 4 members here, and it was a knock and a finish onto Crazy Sam. GEX Yan Lee going to pick himself up another kill, and he's going to steal that, and that's going to send the rest of Sun Sister kind of packing a bit, and kind of scratching their heads. Petrichor Road does go down as well. On the backside, it looks like they're getting kind of combined fired by a couple different teams. Infantry going to be the ones to do it. Another grenade knock here for Poly as we look over at Infantry, the southeast circle in a battle with GEX.
OJ and Entus does get that revenge into a PGG Dumbo, but they're both going to be in line lane. From that dip, you can't really make it out unless you have like 2-3 vehicles or more members. Sun Sisters, they're actually finding a pretty nice time, which I did not like initially. But they can't really come down. They can come down, but the moment you step down too far, they're actually going to be shot, like the moment that you see right now from a lot of other teams. There's Genji, there's GEX, Infantry targeting on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension on the western side of the circle because of Tianba's movement, because of Afrika was over there. There's a lot of knocks in the kill feed that these other teams are seeing. K7 has slowly but effectively made their way out of Zarki after that wild, I call it a wild boat rotation, but it was safe.
Sun Sister, they'll be, where did K7 come from? Like, we did not see any shooting from them, but they actually have control pretty good part from that circle. Actually being a good team, challenging into Sun Sister's position into the rocky side.
Yeah, Zennon there popping some shots with his mini, catching a bit of damage as the Sun Sisters trying to hold off this push. You can see all hands on deck for this movement from K7. Savior up front as the point man. Zennon in the middle, Lock on the backside for K7. But Genji is making their way through. So has K7 kind of overextended themselves a bit? They had this northwestern circle completely safe for a long time.
Or is it? I think Genji, yeah, because after hearing Savior, they think that, oh yes, they 100% thought that K7 was across the road. But there's Lock right next to him.
So again, Genji, a little lack of information is biting them in the butt. Pio's taking a bunch of damage here from Lock. This guy's had a great round, but it looks like it might be over. Loki's going to get the knock. Savior up front now, battling with Sun Sisters. He's going to get knocked. Zennon, the only one left for K7 right now. Sun Sisters able to weather the storm and keep K7 pinned down long enough that Genji gets into the flank.
Okay, depending on Zennon's play right now, Genji might be safe, getting closer to that chicken dinner. And Genji will actually win that battle. Great job on top.
Huge moment for them, huge moment for Infantry. 5 kills already, 9 is knocked, but they have bopped GEX out of this hillside position in the middle of the field and established control of it for themselves. Looks like they are going to be able to get to this res. Now, Tianba's kind of watching this, but they don't have great sight lines into where Infantry is. There's actually some hills on this western side that pretty much obscure the vision, plus there's the dip that Tianba's in. Kind of makes it a little bit tough to get really good line of sight, but Faye and Sun Sister still a thorn in the side for them.
Yeah, Genji has to be really quick with the rotation because trusting into Sun Sister because they are going to be pinning down onto Tianba and also Infantry, especially out in the field. So Genji they basically have this chicken dinner wrapped right now, about to seal it and give it to the customers right now.
let's do that for sure. If we can, it would be wonderful to see either Infantry or Genji step up after a disappointing week 1. Sun Sisters on the back foot. Faye and Kendes trying to hold on. They've been kind of back and forth between Tianba and K7, and now it's Genji. They seem to be having a hard time with these multiple flank battles. Of course, it's difficult for any team.
And Pio with Pio position alone. Basically a 2v1.
did Faye see him? I really wonder. Pio is going to see Faye. Now Faye definitely knows he's there. He had a few bullets whiz by his head. They didn't connect from Pio. Grenades now, throwables out. Pio's going to throw a stun up and over, but Pio should have a pretty good idea. There's two here, and he's trying to cut off the angle. He's going to get one. He's going to come up, try to get the other onto the last member of Sun Sister here. Instead, nobody's poking their head out the way he likes. Now he's going to come across them.
Oh, that's a big moment. And Onyx still can be res. Loki coming right as a backup. Aqua 5 making sure he's trying to check the rotation from infantry right now, making sure they are locked in and pinned down from out of the circle. Genji basically have this right now.
That was some of the best shooting I've seen from Pio in a while. I mean, those were quick, easy, and efficient for him. I mean, he didn't waste a single bullet on either of those in that double kill. Now, Tianba still very much pinned down inside of this, but the rotations are good enough to get them a third place, maybe even a second.
But they have to push towards into that circle, and from the right on top, Aqua 5's got some chance to shoot them down. I think rotating into that northern side is the best idea. Tianba's got way too much firepower.
All right, I mean, this is going to be tough now for infantry. The circle just keeps going west, and they keep riding the edge of it. Now, they fought so well so far here today. It's going to be Longsker leading the convoy as 9 follows up as his wingman, and they're going to try to just go
on top of Tianba right now.
Wow, go right
and
on
then just
top
fight.
of him. So smart for infantry as they get plowed in here. Tianba's going to get Zhao Yang in the opening exchange. Linchen's going to finish it. Longsker down as well. Tianba's defense really, really good as Genji just kind of watches from the wings. Picks up a finish onto Longsker and steals a kill.
The party's right here, but who's going to be left with the after party? That's going to be Genji with the 4-member infantry. They have been, they got the squad down from Tianba. They showed their power, but what's remaining, it's 9 and Lin all the way on the other side of the circle, and Genji.
It's a
Finally, they have a chicken.
It's a tough moment for infantry. The circle just did not want to do anything except go west, and they kept having to fight their way through it. Eventually, the war of attrition just weared them down, and they lose 2 crucial members. Lin and 9, the only ones left here for infantry, but 8 kills at least. And Genji now 4 strong, complete control over the hill. Aqua 5 on a flanking snipe position from the side. He catches vision of Lin there, but hasn't been able to put him in the ground. Some damage being done to 9. Smokes are down here, but 9 has the circle right next to him. Lin Shun has the circle here as well. He's going to try to run forward. Smokes available, but infantry, I don't know if they're going to be able to do much. I think Lin is going to go down to the blue indeed. It's just 9 left here for them. As
on the run, on the search, on the hunt. And looking for that final kill. And that's Pio. Finally, Genji from Korea getting that chicken dinner on the first match of day number 3 in Asia.
Yeah, this is exactly what everyone, not just in Korea, but across the world, was looking for to start week number 2. Genji and infantry both duking it out for first and second place.
Told you. They've been feeling... I don't get this many feels, but when I get that feeling, usually something happens, either good or bad. Usually bad. But Genji, they've been doing so much better yesterday. It seemed like they were, we were just talking before the broadcast, it seemed like they were like the Genji that we know before. And finally in day 3, after that much study, even though they didn't drop in North Shore directly also